Guy Kawasaki is a former Apple marketing executive, and he's credited with being the brains behind the initial Mac marketing campaign. And then he was rehired once again by Apple in the mid-90s to help them rejuvenate the so-called Macintosh cult. He now heads his own venture capital firm, Garage Technology Ventures, and he's with us now live from Palo Alto, California, and he joins us via Skype. Guy, do you think there can be an iPad really cult like you saw with the Mac?
No question. I think it's well on its way to developing a cult following. It is really a game changer for the digestion and the consumption of content, no question.
Because in initial reports, before you got a chance to play with the technology over the weekend, I was hearing you were a bit of a skeptic as to the mass market appeal of the iPad.
Well, skeptic is an honest word as opposed to a downright pessimist. You know, with Apple has such a following in the tech community that the first 5 million of anything it ships will be sold. The question is, does it cross the chasm and become something that, you know, everybody buys? And so far, with Macintosh and with iPhones and iPods, it has happened. With this thing, you know, the question becomes, if you own a laptop, a MacBook, and you own a phone, an iPhone, would you buy a third device? And people like me will, but the question becomes, will, quote unquote, the rest of us do that?
Right. Well, when you were at Apple and you were trying to build that kind of mass market appeal for the Macintosh, I mean, apply that kind of strategic thinking now to selling the iPad, because how do you get past and build that traction beyond just the early adopters?
Well, I think it's a combination of factors. One is that, you know, you hope that the rest of the people are heavily influenced by the reviews in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and the various Macintosh publications. I think the second thing is, you know, everybody has this one friend that you go to when you ask, you know, should I buy this? Should I not buy this? What kind of car should I buy? There's always that one person in people's lives. And if those people are saying, yes, I bought one and you should too, I think word of mouth is everything these days.
Is this a device that spawns an industry like the iPod did for them or the iPhone has done?
Well, I don't think it'll spawn an industry. I think it may, in fact, rejuvenate an industry, primarily the publishing industry, both, you know, books and magazines as well as newspapers. You know, there's a big issue about will people pay for news content? And heretofore, the answer has been no. But I tell you, when people buy iPads, you know, at some point you have to do something with an iPad. And one of the most obvious things is to read a book or a magazine or a newspaper. And at that point, if you've bought a Ferrari, you don't really complain about the price of premium gas. So at that point, you know, why not subscribe and pay for subscriptions for content?
All right. So it sounds like you're saying you think they're marketing this device correctly. Yes or no?
Yeah, well, there's no faulting Apple on its marketing. I'm not there anymore, so I can't take any credit. But yes, Apple can market things.
They are living up to the hype, it sounds like, from your point of view. We'll see whether they get that traction you're talking about. Thank you so much, Guy, for joining us via Skype this morning as Guy Kawasaki, co-founder of Garage Technology Ventures. He was also once with Apple.